How could one amass wealth easily in ancient times? Which night in Ukraine is deemed magical? Among the heroes of Ukrainian mythology, who is the most joyful? Why is it essential to extinguish the fire when returning from the mountains? And why do newborns frequently cry and fuss, and who is responsible for it? Hello, I'm Nick Lysytsky. This is Encyclopedia of Ukrainian Mythology, a show about incredible characters and extraordinary phenomena. And the heroes of today's episode are Inklusnik, Kupalo, Lisovik, Mara, and Nichnitsi. Inklusnik. In this video, we won't be talking about inclusion or inclusivity, but instead we'll dive into the world of a very wealthy character from Ukrainian mythology. Inklusnik is a person who possesses a magical coin called Inklus. This coin always returns to its owner no matter how many times it's spent. But it doesn't just return, it also attracts more money along with it. Becoming rich is a natural desire for everyone. However, while some choose to achieve it through hard work and dedication, others hope for easy money. Today, such people believe in lotteries, online casinos, and Bitcoin. But our ancestors believed in an Inklus. Not only did they believe in it, but they also knew several ways to create one, most of which are quite eerie. I'll tell you about 3 of them. So, how do you create an Inklus? First method is the simplest. Find a swallow's nest and place a silver coin in it. After the 3rd generation of swallows has left the nest, it's time to retrieve the coin, your Inklus is ready, and you can put it into circulation. The second method is go out at midnight to a crossroads where 4 roads meet, summon a devil, and demand an Inklus from him 3 times. However, in exchange for the magical coin, you'll have to give up your soul. Third method. Capture a live bat, slit its throat with the coin, and carry the coin under your armpit for 9 days without praying, visiting a church, or hearing church bells. However, you can also buy an Inklus from a herbalist, or if you're lucky you might stumble upon one on the road or receive it as a gift if the previous owner for some reason wants to part with the enchanted coin. Another way to identify an Inklus and make it your own is to bite it with your front teeth. Perhaps that's why some Ukrainians used to have the tradition of testing all their money with their teeth before placing it in their wallets. After all, you never know which coin might turn out to be an Inklus and bring fantastic wealth. Kupalo, a mythical character and actual folk holiday. One of the most beloved and well-known in Ukraine. In ancient times, Kupalo, or Kupilo, possibly was the god of the sun, abundance, and harvest. However, there is no reliable information about his divine essence and functions, and we don't know who he really was. Instead, when it comes to the Kupala festival, we have plenty of information because it is still celebrated today, and its symbols, the Kupala fire and the fern flower, are widely recognized in modern culture and art. No matter who the ancient Kupalo was, after the adoption of Christianity in Rus, the church made every effort to erase any mention of him. For this purpose, they merged the Kupala festival with the feast of St. John the Baptist and called it Ivan Kupala. However, the festival preserved its original essence and did not become Christian even after 1,000 years. Although during medieval times, Kupala celebrations were considered devilish and were heavily discouraged and condemned by church authorities. Kupala is a celebration of life, fertility, and love. It takes place during the height of nature's abundance, the summer solstice. The rituals performed during this time symbolize the union of the sun and water, resulting in increased fertility of the earth, lush vegetation, and a promising harvest. Before sunrise, participants in the festivities create 2 effigies, Marina and Kupilo. They then dress them, set up a table with offerings in front of them, light a bonfire, dance around it, and sing. At the end of the festival, these effigies are torn apart, burned, or thrown into the water. If this sounds like worship and offerings to ancient gods to you, well, you're not mistaken. Some researchers believe that's exactly what it is. Kupala is a unique festival because the main events take place not during the day, but at night. In Ukrainian beliefs, Kupala night is enchanting. Nature reveals unseen secrets. The sky and earth open up, animals speak, trees can take a stroll, water in wells turns into wine, and treasures surface. On this night, young girls engage in divination by setting wreaths afloat on the water, while witches gather for a Sabbath on Bald Mountain. Sorcerers gather healing herbs during Kupala night because at this time they are believed to have the greatest potency, and people sway in the dew before sunrise, since Kupala dew is thought to possess magical power. Kupala night also involves bathing and leaping over the magical Kupala fire. These rituals are associated with purification and protection from dark forces, but they also carry an erotic undertone and serve as a kind of courtship game, as Kupala quite literally is a celebration of love. And of course, on Kupala night it is customary to search for the magical fern flower, but I will tell you more about that in one of our upcoming episodes. Lysytsky, the king of beasts, the master of plants, the lord of the forest, and quite possibly the biggest prankster in Ukrainian mythology. Most often, he's imagined as a little old man with a long beard who casts no shadow. In ancient times, Lysytsky was probably considered a forest deity. Later on, he came to be perceived as an evil spirit, and sometimes even equated with the devil. However, unlike other representatives of demons, the woodland master values humor above all else. He loves to laugh, and for a good joke, he might even reward you. Lysytsky is known in many corners of Ukraine, so there are various versions regarding his origin, appearance, and character. The most common belief is that Lysytsky lives just like an ordinary villager but in the forest. He has his woodland cottage, a forest wife, and children. However, he can also appear in the form of animals: a bear, a wolf, a hare, a sheep, a kid, and even a monkey. Additionally, Lysytsky can transform into hay, a mushroom, a fir tree, or white moss, and change his height, becoming taller than trees or shorter than grass. Lysystsky's job is to keep order and take care of the animals in the forest, or on his plot of land, because sometimes there are several deities in one forest. Yet he enjoys mischief much more than work. Lysystsky likes to play tricks on people. For instance, he can approach a man in the forest, looking like someone he knows, and invite him over for a visit or to a tavern, then lead him around until the poor soul finds himself in some thicket or swamp. Lysystsky also enjoys running through the woods, whistling, laughing, and clapping his hands. When two woodland spirits meet, they usually play cards using their animals, hares and squirrels, and when they lose, they chase them from one place to another. Lysystsky likes to woo women. He can entice a girl into the forest and take her as his wife, throwing a grand and noisy wedding celebration. After such revelry in the woods, there are strips of trees torn up by the roots. Although Lysystsky is quite the troublemaker, if you treat him with respect, he will reciprocate. He might offer warnings of impending danger, and for those who appease him with a treat or make him laugh, he will offer help and even reward. By the way, of all the delicacies, Lysystsky loves bird's eggs the most. But if you ever encounter Lysystsky and you don't have eggs with you, there is a reliable way to get rid of him. You need to turn your clothes inside out and change your shoes from right to left, and vice versa. Mara, or Mara, is an ancient and creepy character of Slavic and Ukrainian mythology. Little is known about her, and all mentions are incomplete and fragmented. However, they are all somehow connected to death. Mara was envisioned as an evil demon, a specter in the form of a woman with long flowing hair. According to folklore, she would blind a person's eyes with an invisible veil, terrify them, cloud their judgment, and lead them into dangerous places. According to some mythologists, in ancient times, Mara was a goddess of death and the underworld, similar to the ancient Greek Hecate. Others speculated that Mara was a water goddess, and her cult survived in the form of Marina, a ritual element of Kupala night celebrations, which I discussed in one of my previous episodes. However, there is no concrete evidence to support these versions. There is a belief that Mara became an ordinary child whose godmother forgot her name and called her Mara. Since then, the spirit of this child roams the earth and terrifies people. Mara was also considered a wicked, ugly witch, a ghost, and simply an evil spirit that strangled people in their sleep. In Hutzul mythology, Mara refers to the spirit of an unburied person. This spirit wanders the world, and at the end of the summer, right after the shepherds bring their cattle back to the villages from the pastures, she comes to the mountain pastures to spend the winter in the shepherds' huts. Therefore, when leaving the highlands, one must be very careful and not leave any sparks in the fireside, because if Mara sees the fire, she will burn everything. Nichnichi are mythical beings known for stealing sleep and causing insomnia. They can appear in the form of elusive shadows, resembling women in black attire with long hair and claws on their hands, as well as in the form of birds, flying bats, and large hairy worms. According to legends, Nichnichi are either childless witches or the souls of murdered girls seeking revenge. Hence, they visit the families that wronged them during their lifetime. The most vulnerable to Nichnitsi are newborns. It is because of them that little children cry, scream, and cannot fall asleep at night. In the past, due to the fear of Nichnitsi, mothers did not go out into the courtyard after sunset, did not leave diapers there, prepared water for bathing only during the day, and placed various charms in the cradle. However, Nichnitsi are also dangerous for adults. They can visit pregnant women, causing chest pains. Nichnitsi that come to men not only steal sleep from those who are about to rest, but also haunt those who are guarding or should be vigilant. Be sure to enable notifications to stay updated with our latest content, and help us by sharing our project with your friends and acquaintances. Your support in promoting Ukrainian mythology worldwide is greatly appreciated.